While Biden frames himself as the protector of democracy against an autocratic Trump, our friend George Will writes from the Washington Post, a Constitution-flouting authoritarian is already in the White House. George Will is here, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, NewsNation senior political contributor. George, good to see you. The reason I thought it was so interesting that you wrote this is because of your long-standing dislike of Donald Trump. And the comparison, I thought, was important. What is similar in how these two men view the power of the presidency?
Donald Trump says that whatever the president does is essentially unconstrainable by any other institution. Biden doesn't say that, but he acts that way. The Supreme Court had to swat him down when his Centers for Disease Prevention and Control declared a national moratorium on evictions. They had to swat him down on the vaccine mandate. They had to swat him down again when he said, I'm going to give, Congress is going to spend it, I'm going to spend $400 billion for giving the loans of a privileged and largely affluent Democratic group that is recent college graduates. Now, I have no brief for either of these gentlemen, assuming that because they're president, the other two branches of government don't matter.
All right. I think this goes to sort of exactly what Joe Biden was talking about today. I think it's interesting, the language, right? He's running on the past, not his past, but somebody else's past. And at the same time, you think about this, and Democrats will tell you that they believe democracy is at risk, the republic is at risk. This is from The Economist, which is hardly in love with Donald Trump and can normally and fairly thoughtful and understanding of the liberal cause. The man supposed to stop Donald Trump is an unpopular 81-year-old. In failing to look past Joe Biden, Democrats have shown cowardice and complacency. And I guess the question would be, if the republic is truly at risk, and that is what is the issue at issue in this election, is the best Democrats can do Joe Biden?
That's precisely The Economist's point. They're saying if you really believe the republic is at risk, wouldn't you put up someone who's not already losing in the polls to Donald Trump? Joe Biden's numbers have been sliding deeply for 2 years as he has repeated this insulting argument, insulting in this way. He says the American people have 74 million people voted for Donald Trump, who's a known fascist, according to Mr. Biden. These 74 million people are either complicit in fascism or too stupid to know fascism when they see it. Now, you insult 74 million Americans repeatedly for 2 years. Some of them take it personally. Now Joe Biden says, the republic that George Washington founded, that Abraham Lincoln led through a civil war, is going to perish unless I'm back in the White House. There comes a point where this vanity, combined with hysteria, is going to drive away people by the millions, as Joe Biden's polls indicate is already happening.
People don't like being called stupid or fascist, as you point out. I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds on this. The Supreme Court takes up the Colorado case about Donald Trump. Lots can be made about this being a Republican Supreme Court. Are we to believe that perhaps the best thing, that if it's really for the Republicans and what Republicans would do, is they could also just say, we're going to take Donald Trump off the ballot and let Super Tuesday happen between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, and there we go. That would be a different option.
It is simply wrong to say that because someone is appointed by a Democratic or Republican president, they're going to rule as Democrats and Republicans want. It is the Supreme Court's job, as the greatest Chief Justice ever said, John Marshall, to say what the law is. This is simply a question of what the word insurrection in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment means. Now, I think that amendment, written 1 year after Appomattox, says an insurrection is what the Confederacy did with armies in the field to overthrow the government. Some Democrats around the country say, no, insurrection means a rabble attacking the Capitol in one day. I think the Supreme Court will swat this down and say the 14th Amendment is irrelevant. Let the people vote.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.